Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting Propagandacast with me, your host, Imperial Dane. A 1 vs 1, a Monday novice fight. This will be the last Monday novice fight for some time, featuring COH2, because after tomorrow, we will be heading back to COH1 as the closed beta, well, closes, and we have to wait, hopefully just a few weeks until the open beta. But who shall be fighting? We shall be watching Milo, the medic, fighting for the Wehrmacht, rolling out for the 15th Panzer Division. Opposing him shall be Aelvins. Or Aelvins. Bloody hell, we'll just call him Aelvins since I haven't at least some clue as to how to pronounce that. Fighting for the Soviet Union, fighting for the 20th Tank Corps. And we are seeing an MG start going out here from Milothemedic. And considering he's only going for one pioneer as well, perhaps not the best start as well, since it could leave him a bit open to any sort of conscript push right off the bat. Though, of course, we'll have to see how this one works out. Conscript slowly heading towards the center, company heading towards the north. So far, nothing highly indicative, although we do see the pioneers rushing straight for the fuel point. The munitions so far being actually being ignored here by Milo, which is not necessarily always good, in fact. In particular, as the Ost here, you do want some munitions early on. But there we go, the first Grenadier squad out for Milo. Center victory point getting joined. Looks like he's rushing the MD-42 into the building. Bit of a novice move. One will consider again the whole rushing an MD into a building to fortify the area. In this case, I mean, there's not really much to do. The victory point's already been secured. Troops already moving towards here, the more valuable point initially. So, not really a strong move right there by Milo. Plus, of course, an MG in a building can easily be outmaneuvered, overwhelmed, all those sorts of things if you're not careful. Conscripts heading south, conscripts heading towards there. Grenadiers, looks like they will not be dealing with the conscripts right away, heading northwards. Another Grenadier squad out for Milo. A bit more of infantry for the Reich. Looks like the pioneers will be making the move. Looks like they will also be vaulting. A nice little thing here in COH2 to quickly maneuver about. Can shorten movement times and such, allow you to much more quickly flank about. So huzzah there for Milo, and there we go, securing the victory point in the center, and there you go. Conscripts will be within range of the MD-42 most likely. Pioneers though will need to hold out until the MD crew sights in. Grenadiers moving in, other Grenadier squad ignoring the company squad up in the north, and there go MD-42 opening up on the conscripts down south. Pioneers though are in a terrible condition. They will need to consider getting out of there. Grenadiers already snuck into the building right here, firing down upon the conscripts. Second Grenadier squad moving in. This will actually be a very poor position for Aelvins, and in this case he probably should just consider retreating, since he will be taking fire from several positions, one from the building, one from the other Grenadier squad. Of course, there will be the one in the building, so not really a solid position. Oh, whoops, there for Aelvins. Conscripts continue to be absolutely pinned down like bugs, Russian bugs. And they should definitely consider getting out. And there we go. They in fact get completely pinned now. Cannot move, cannot shoot. And Vasily takes a bullet to the face, or a series of bullets. We do see some flamethrowers being equipped there for the Combinationiers, but the Grenadiers have already vacated the premises. The conscript squads are being forced away from the front line, although we do still see that one squad actually continuing there. And we do see that within the first few minutes, Aelvins does hold most of the map, so very nicely done there. You know, not just finding the enemy, and just also just taking territory, which is definitely one way to initially gain the advantage against the Germans. Third Grenadier squad out here from Milo, so actually himself getting a nice unit composition. 3 Grenadier squads, an MD and some pioneers. A nice balance of things. He could consider getting an MD-42, although he doesn't even have the munitions. And actually, in that sense, Milo is very much hurting himself. He's actually denying himself an early MD-42 for his Grenadiers, which very much hurt him. Lower his combat fighting ability against the conscripts, and just deny him one sort of early advantage. And there we go, trying to finally go for it, but there's nothing actually supporting the pioneers. And again, the conscripts flanking about, securing most of the map, will now push against the pioneers right there. Definitely not good. Grenadiers though are arriving, but a bit too late for Milo. And again, note, initially not very good map control, very poor map control, in fact, seemingly a very poor understanding of the map. one might call it. Again, Grenadiers standing about doing nothing. I mean, Milo at this stage of the fight cannot afford to stand still. He should be pushing, he should take territory, he should get the munitions. Again, just note how little of the map that is actually his. It is not encouraging. There we go, Grenadier goes down. He was out in the open. Conscripts were not. And there we go, Aelvins overpowering the Grenadiers right here again. There's another problem right here for Milo. His Grenadiers are very much working on their own. Grenadiers work best, a bit like False Grenadiers in the first game, when they work with something else. Though generally all infantry does. But again, I mean, right here we just see Aelvins pushing in very, very hard with so many conscript squads here against a few Grenadiers and the Pioneers. They need support. You can finally get an MG, and again, there's troops standing out doing nothing. Come on, Milo. Get into fight, meine Herren. Looks like these Grenadiers need to get out of there. Come on, Milo. Get them out of there. Rückzug. They are low on health, low on numbers, and there we go. They're getting out of there, but the Pioneers might not be so lucky. Conscript squad on the retreat. Mana engagement up here. Again, he's spreading out his troops too far. And he's easily allowing Aelvins, who has a much higher infantry component, to basically just overwhelm them wherever he so wants to. I mean, it's really poor tactics right there from Milo. He's simply allowing Aelvins to gain the local superiority, or basically overall superiority in every single fight, because again, Milo, except for one initial fight right here, simply spreading out his troops too far, making it a much easier job for Aelvins to basically overwhelm and get some easy kills. Conscripts right here, they're getting stopped by the MG42, pinning them. That's alright. Finally going to get their munitions. Grenadiers moving out in coordinated group. Scout car on the way from the Ausklärungsabteilung. Although we do see some flame for combat engineers pouring fire into the church, forcing the MG crew out of there. Scout car pushing up, and there we go. Conscripts getting pushed away. MG42 sets up and then retreats. Grenadiers equipped with the MG42. That is also good. Finally, a bit of fire in Milo's boots, realizing that he needs to get his bleeding act together. And there you go, pumping the Grenadiers from the MG into the church. And there we go. Combat engineers are pushed away. Very, very actually large infantry force right there from Aelvins. He's got, what, 5 conscripts? That's an awful lot. I mean, as the Russians, it can pay off a bit more, but even then, perhaps a bit over the top. Oh well. Panzer Grenadiers on the way. He should definitely, though, consider at least getting some anti-tank grenades. Rather looks like he does not actually have Molotovs for them, though. But there we go, going for the cut-off point, except he also needs to get that one to really cut off the fuel. Also needs to get them to a fire and warm them up a bit first. Companies moving up. Scout car far removed. Veterans one for the Pioneers. Fuel point in the north falling. Panzer Grenadiers moving out. Bit of quiet, bit of quiet. 2 conscript squads moving in towards those much more lonely Grenadiers. Also note, Jäger infantry doctrine has been chosen, rather making Milo more of an infantry fighter. Can equip his troops with the Gewehr 43, and currently can give them ambush camouflage, which will allow them to cloak, and basically when they then spot an enemy open fire, they will get a small accuracy bonus for a short period of time, which can actually be quite devastating. And again, Milo once more begins splitting up his troops a bit too much, which is not really good, considering he should be aware at this stage that Aelvins, rather cleverly of course, is actually working with his infantry in larger groups, trying to overwhelm his opponent locally. So in that sense, Milo rather not quite getting the lesson his opponent is trying to teach him. And there we go, these Grenadiers actually very low in health on their own. Again, another mistake right there by Milo, and he needs to retreat them. But I fear he will not. Instead, he will lose a Grenadier squad. And there we go. Grenadier squad lost. Absolutely a waste of good German troops. Scout car nowhere near the front line as well. I mean, he's not really using it either. Panzer still pushing in against the Communist Grenadiers. Need to stand still. Again, a quick note. The MG does not fire on the move. It fires from standing still. And there we go. Heavy losses. And a Communist squad actually goes down for Aelvins. Heavy loss right there to the 20th Tank Corps. Scout car needs to get the devil out of there. Grenadiers man also want to consider at least get off a grenade right there. Losses are being inflicted. Grenadiers on the way. Scout car going to go down to several anti-tank grenades. Panzer continue to get some kills right here, and they're actually being equipped with the Jaeger infantry package, interestingly enough. Down to one man. Come on, Milo. Unit preservation. Button grenade. Does not kill anyone. Bit of a waste of a button grenade, to be honest. Milo, though, beginning to gain back some of the map. That's something. Also going up for the support armor corps. Also, one thing to note about the Jaeger infantry doctrine, it's very munitions intensive. So in that sense, I mean, something that Milo might want to consider, sort of really, get the most out of his doctrine, actually build up, let's say, a munitions cache or two, if he can find the resource. Although, again, his current unit preservation is rather hampering him in that department. As for giving the Panzer Grenadiers, hang on. As for giving Panzer Grenadiers the Gewehr 43 upgrade, it basically increases their firepower at longer ranges. And of course, the question is, do you then want that over the assault rifle they already have? Well, of course, that is a matter of your own discretion. But Panzer Grenadiers moving out. 15th Panzer Division really adding into fire. Again, there we go, quickly styming up the Grenadiers, although he might want to stick them in cover. Again, don't move so close for the MG. Getting a bit too close there, getting a bit too close. MG in the church once more. He seems awfully close. I'm fond of that. Conscripts here getting absolutely overwhelmed. Lots of fire being directed, and there we go. Aelvins rather nice retreating in time. And also note, he's actually gone for the rifle NKVD rifle disruption doctrine. Very rare I see that one. Gives him a rapid conscription, recon overflights, radio intercepts, and some fear propaganda artillery and Sturmwing attacks. Rather interesting. Not very often I see that doctrine used, but already one veteran, two conscript squad. Not really much else in that sense. Aelvins need to consider again taking up, because he's rather opening up himself up for some German panzers to do some terrible stuff to him. There we go, Gewehr 43 equipped Panzer Grenadiers, more heavily equipped than the rest. We are better. And we can also interrogate. Although largely I've yet to actually try it, largely because when I do, either they die before I can interrogate them or the game ends. So that's a bit annoying.
What are your orders? Your predecessor died a hero.
And there we go, he's actually building up fuel depots. He's already got a lot of fuel, but I imagine that Aelvins is actually preparing for the longer fight. That's good. That is good. The Germans are making progress, taking points. Again, I would recommend a munitions cache for Milo. If he intends to really use the Jaeger infantry doctrine, he will really need a lot of munitions. In that case, munitions caches will become very much necessary. But so far, Aelvins has really been making great use of the fact he's got 5 conscript squads. He could benefit from a few Molotovs, but I suppose you can't have everything. And we are seeing actually Milo going for a fuel cache himself, going for the cutoff point. They're very nice, aggressive harassment move there from my Aelvins, although quickly losing the Panzer because they're really doing a lot of damage. And there we go. Conscripts down. Lots of conscripts going down to the STG and Gewehr 43 equipped Panzer Grenadiers. Really nice and nasty squad right there. And conscripts making a move right here for the Grenadiers in the house. Again, I don't think he actually has Molotovs in that sense. It's actually a very safe proposition for Milo to put his troops in buildings, which is actually something that Milo should consider Aelvins should consider rectifying with some Molotovs, but he's still not researching that. In fact, he actually ends up retreating his Grenadiers when there's probably not so much reason for it. Oh well, should at least send in something to support and cover the retreat. He could very well risk losing the Grenadiers, but no, he gets a bit fortunate right there.
One less to worry about.
Counterattack going in, but I do fear that Milo is making a mistake here. He's sending in his troops from each their own angle. He's not getting quite full support, which will allow, again, Aelvins already has the superiority in numbers and force right there in that local area to gain it further and again clear out the troops at a much easier pace. So again, something you have to be careful about when attacking. You usually want them to be sort of, working in tandem. But there we go, Panzer Grenadiers moving in, MG, and there we go, Gewehr for the 3 equipped Panzer Grenadiers flanking. Nicely done. Oh, and again, you usually want them to be in cover. Panzer Grenadier down. Heinz takes a bullet to the stomach. Moving in close, and there we go. Panzer Grenadiers need to retreat. Schnell, schnell. Equipping them with Panzer Strikes. Apparently, Milo is very much worried about Soviet tanks, and we do see the Tankowy Battalion Command going up for Aelvins. Although still some way off. Fuel cache a bit exposed. Milo gaining some of the map. Troops in need of reinforcement. Still no munitions caches. And we could see a conscript squad. Oh, Veteran 22 conscript squad went down to the fascists. Never good that. Still, he's got 4 conscript squads to work with. And there you go, Panzer's moving up against the other troops. And there we go, Geballte Ladnung. And the Soviets are quickly on the retreat. A lot of wounded Russians lying all over the place. And we couldn't see another company squad going down to the Grenadiers, the MD-42. And we're actually seeing him use the recon over flight track to get an idea of what's going on here. And just note, flying over the fascist base. Getting an idea, of course, of what Milo, the evil fascist, has. I wonder what aircraft it has. It seems like a very... No, it's the Sturmweg. Oh. I thought it might have been a smaller aircraft. Oh, well. But there you go. Getting an idea of what his opponent has. Of course, there's also the radio intercept. When it works, it's slightly buggy at the moment. But Tankowy Battalion Command going up, and we're going to see... Oh, lots of tanks! Looks like Aelvins actually knows how you use the T-34s, which is in numbers. They are cheap, of course, and German Panzer, of course, get a few of them, and then, of course, use those numbers to really lay down a lot of fire on the fascisti.
Enemy forces are neutralizing a sector.
And there you go, an awful lot of conscripts. Although in this case, blobbing up, you should be careful about that. Not really good, not good, Aelvins. Never blob up if you can avoid it. He might encounter these rather heavily equipped Panzer Grenadiers. And there we go. Conscript charging ahead, taking heavy losses to the Sturmgewehrs and the Gewehr 43s. And there we go, Veteran 22 for the Panzers, making them tougher. Bun grenade goes off in the combat engineers, clearing out almost out. Conscripts taking heavy losses again. The Panzer Grenadiers are much tougher infantry, in particular the ones with the Gewehr 43 already Veteran 22. Doing nasty stuff, really getting a lot of kills off on the Bolsheviks. Another squad of Panzer Grenadiers, the 15th, are really sending out all the best men for this fight. And there we go, as conscript squad goes down to 3 squads of conscripts. In this case, Aelvins does need to work a bit on his unit preservation. And we're seeing 3 T-34s out, 3 T-34s out at the same time. And also note here, we do see that Aelvins actually gets a report that a flank panzer is out. The Ostwind. And the Panzer goes a quick to retreat. He could consider getting a bunker with a medic upgrade right here, Mr. Milothemedic. Ironically, Milothemedic does not have any medics. T-34 up here. He might want to coordinate them again. T-34s tend to be more of a mass weapon, working best when there are other T-34s to support. Just saying. T-34 are out. He's actually sending them out without support, and again in a blizzard. That's not really good. I will just briefly pause and show you why. Again, note, they can't really see very far. I mean, the infantry has a slightly better view range, but a T-34, I mean, no, it can't barely see anything. Also note, again, it won't take much to sort of disable that. An infantry squad that runs into trouble can retreat. A tank can't. It may well get disabled and it become an easy target for your opponent. So usually in a blizzard, you really want to be a bit more cautious with your tank. You don't want to be sending them out through the blind. So a bit of a nasty mistake right there being committed by Aelvins. And there we go, the Ostwind Flak Panzer rolls forward. Opening up the conscripts who may want to consider getting out of there before the Panzer Grenadiers and the Flak Panzer sort them out. But apparently they do not act. Oh, down to 2 conscript squads. Not really good at all for Aelvins. Panzer Grenadiers quickly force away 1 T-34. And fuel cache goes down to another T-34 in the north. But he's spraying that a bit too much. You usually want them working in conjunction with each other. And there you go, the blizzard ends. You could also consider just using rapid conscription if it comes to that. T-34 comes under fire, gets a Panzer Grenadier, come on, send them in, send them to work with each other, don't spread them out, Oh dear, Aelvins, you're making your T-34s easy targets. And the T-34 actually had weak sidearm and something like the Austrian could actually knock it out. Where's the... Oh dear. Really, really poor engagement right here from Aelvins. I like the idea of three T-34s again, much cheaper than, say, getting a lot of German tanks, but the way he's using it is not very good. He's absolutely diluting their effect. I mean, had he been charging with these three T-34s into the area, he could easily have cleared out those panzer guns with the Panzer X. He could easily overcome the Ostwind. He could overcome the Panzer Grenadiers. Instead, I mean, he's not getting very much out of them. They're becoming much easier targets for the Germans to handle. It's an absolute shame, a crime, in fact, that Aelvins is right here committing with Soviet armor. And he was so close to actually getting off to something good with the tanks. Instead, well, he obviously didn't quite work it out. Now we see 4 squads of Panzer Grenadiers. Squad of Grenadiers, although they're also quite wounded in some condition. Ostwind getting repaired. But again, really poor armor engagement right there from Aelvins. Getting 3 T-34-76s was a good idea. How he used them, though, less good. Again, I like the idea, but the execution of said idea was clearly not quite as good. Had he again been focusing together, had he attacked with them at the same time, perhaps from different angles, again he could have overwhelmed the Panzer Grenadiers with the Panzer X for starters, which were really his only main threat, because Milothemedic has really poorly prepared himself for any sort of armor. But he could also much quickly taken out the Austrian flag panzer. So in that sense, I'm quite disappointed in Aelvins. He really threw away an excellent chance of doing a lot of damage to the Germans. But Grenadiers and Panzer Grenadiers finding way here. More Panzer X, since now, of course, he's seen all the T-34s. Of course, he's a bit more worried about Bolshevik tanks. Which, of course, is quite a sensible worry. Conscripts here getting overwhelmed by Panzer Grenadiers and run off.
HMT here. Schützen here. Soviet forces are engaging us.
Third and last T-34 for the moment. Conscripts right here, they're getting absolutely mauled by the Ostwind. Conscripts here need to be careful, although they quickly get into the house. Need to be careful with the button grenades. T-34 on its own, going in after the Panzers down south. Nice move, nice move. Aelvins going for the weaker targets with his T-34. Nicely down there, nicely down there. T-34 quite nice against infantry, even their machine guns do some damage. And there go the Panzers on the retreat. We're seeing another T-34 moving in. Ostwind rolling in, Panzers in support. And there's no infantry support, it's tanks, which is less good. House here, taking an awful lot of damage, but the conscripts are holding out. Grenadiers moving in. And there we go, Aelvins actually now coordinating his T-34s. That is good. That is good. Don't know how to say that is good in Russian, but there you go. Ostwind moving in, and right here, Milo, of course, makes a mistake. He thinks his Ostwind is an actual tank. It's not quite. And there we go, the Ostwind actually ends up taking an awful lot of damage. Panzers though moving in. In this case, I would say Aelvins should prioritize what is the most important, which is the Panzer Grenadiers with the Panzer X. Focus them down. Again, focus down the targets, priority targets. There we go, Panzer Grenadiers down. Continue doing so. Down to 2 men. Come on. Right there again. Aelvins misses a chance really in a knockout, and he should have been doing it once the Austrian flag panzer really wasn't a threat. But he didn't quite achieve that. Instead, now he's trying to retreat, which actually makes his T-34 an easier target for the Panzer Grenadiers. Really a missed opportunity again from him. But again, we do see Aelvins then conducting a nice infantry assault in the north, overwhelming the Grenadiers. And then again, he's, well, he's slightly blobbing up, but he's not quite fully either, which is something. Again, would be preferable if, you know, you can split them out a bit further, but still nice coordination, getting local superiority, overwhelming the Germans, clearing them out. Stug now out 4. Milo, which is good, at least better. And the Aelvins, some Panzer Grenadiers here freezing out into the wind. And we're actually seeing mines going down, not times, but mines going down from Aelvins. That is very good. Excellent, what I like to see. Grenadiers are in the stolen MG. And in fact, no more Grenadiers for Milothemedic, who's still not getting any medics. Might want to upgrade that Stuke with an MG. Panzer Grenadiers following up. T-34 abandoned. Conscripts on the run as the Panzer Grenadiers move into support.
Panzer Grenadiers, things are getting hot here.
All of those Panzer Grenadiers quite expensive on Milo's manpower income. Another bomb grenade. Not so good, and he's actually equipped these Panzer Grenadiers both with Panzer X and with Gewehr 43s. That is definitely interesting. He's actually ending up doing up a lot of damage to the conscripts. Almost getting them, in fact. Vicious that. Vicious that. Vet 22 for the MG42 crew. That's also nice to see.
Yes. I hope you need us someplace warmer.
Quite a few nasty troops around here. Some veteran troops of the 15th Panzer Division. Few Panzer Grenadiers fighting versus Vet 22 troops, getting Vet 22 themselves, actually. Still no munitions cache from Milo. I would very much have liked to see that. But overall, I mean, the Gewehr for the 3 upgrade for the Panzer Grenadiers, though, generally seems to be an alright effective one. I mean, they generally don't seem to be actually performing poorer than regular Panzer Grenadiers, though again, note it is rather expensive to equip all troops like that with Gewehr 43s. And again, though, he's not quite succeeding getting. And there we go! Stuke actually hits a mine! Heavy engine damage, in fact. Now, it's really not so good, and also took actually a bit of nasty damage there. In this case, if it was to hit with a tank, I mean, the Stuke would be very much in trouble because it really would be on its own, although we do see that Milo is quick to move in some troops with Panzer to ensure it doesn't get rushed with armor. Field guns out for Aelvins. Actually enough, he's not been getting any support units, and now he's going for the mechanized armor Campania. Trying to clear out the MG42, bombarding it. And it's actually time for the mid-game analysis. Current situation, well, sort of 50-50 after a rather rough start for the Germans. He's making some gains back. Aelvins rather threw it with the heavy investment into T-34s, and again, not quite, using it again. The idea was good execution, less good, and that's giving Milothemedic some time to get back. But again, he needs, to focus up infantry, have them work within, supporting distance at the very least. But he's did not quite do that, although he's slowly getting there, I think. Good use of the Jaeger infantry, at least interesting use, although only really using the Gewehr 43 upgrade. He's not, for example, used the ambush camouflage. He's not used tactical movement either, which actually allows him to order his troops to sprint for a bit of while. No light artillery barrage and no Stuka close air support either, which is a bit of a shame. But even then, not very often you actually see Gewehr 43s being equipped on Panzer Grenadiers, and they do actually do more damage than the ones being equipped for Grenadiers. So slight heads up there. But still, interesting fight. What Milo, though, again needs to do is focus his troops a bit up, keep them in supporting distance. He needs to get his Stuke repaired. He needs to get another Panzer up at the very least. He needs to consider getting up a mortar as well. I think a mortar would help him slow down the Germans a bit, and some munitions caches, so really get the full ability out of his doctrine, because currently he's not. Again, it's very intensive in munitions, but he's not quite, trying to support that and work his strategy towards that, which is a definite shame. He also needs to consider blowing up that T-34 or stealing it, either of those two, not leaving it behind. And again, he's got Panzer Grenadiers to quickly knock it out if he doesn't want it, so something to get there. Aelvins needs to focus up again, though. He's working quite better with his infantry, supporting each other, having some stuff for that. He needs to work on his tank movement, and overall his current strategy, I think, should be, gaining the south back and then making a push towards the north and trying to knock out that Stug, although he should be careful since the Stug will make short work of his T-34s if he's not careful. I know he's probably just try to focus on, again, catching lone Panzer Grenadier squads and wiping them out, because, again, that's really Milo's #1 sin at the moment. The field gun currently trying to blast out the MD-42 from the remains of the church. The church certainly not withstanding much more damage. MD-42 crew quick to leave. And there you go, T-35 going in against the Panzer Grenadiers, and these need to get out of there. There you go, already 2 men down. Nasty stuff. Get them out of there, Milo. Unit preservation, you're down to 1 man. And the MG from the T-34 cuts the last man down. Not good right there by Milo. Again, poor unit preservation. Sometimes, just not retreating. And again, a T-34 versus a Panzer Grenadier squad like that can actually win. Can win, as you saw, ladies and gentlemen. So again, not really good for Milo right there. Much of a shame here. Grenadiers conscripts with the MG actually winning against the Grenadiers so far, even with the Stug support, because again, that might also want to consider an MG upgrade. Sadly, it's not. One grenade that goes off, and there we go. Several Grenadier conscripts down and run off. In the name of the motherland, and there we go, knocking out the T-34 finally. Yeah, the T-34 getting repaired. Veterans 1 though, that's nice. And if you get Veterans 2, that would be even better.
Enemy forces are securing our territory.
And we do see a Panzerkampfwagen on the way for Milo. But he's also quite lacking in infantry. And problem is, most of his infantry now is actually not very good against enemy infantry, which is a definite problem. Although at the same time, we also note here that Aelvins himself is also on infantry, so he might also want to consider getting something himself. Grenadiers and Stug moving against the conscripts in the north. Do see that the conscripts are quick to retreat in the face of such German might. MD-42 holding up here. Of course, also note you can actually get ambush camouflage for your MD-42 crews as well. So, and there we go, T-34 moves in, gets off a nice hit now on the MG crew. And again, nothing to really deal with the T-34. Needs to get that MG-42 out of there, needs to retreat it. And we also see an HU-85 now out for Aelvins. The Panzerkampfwagen 4 bereit. A few conscripts sneaking out south. And now with some tank destroyers to help against fascist tankeries. That's going to help a bit.
Assault gun standing by.
If he utilizes, of course, correctly. And there we go, conscript squads moving in with an MG in support. Oh, slight mistake right here. He's sending in his tank destroyer first, which is definitely not very good, since of course it's not the most maneuverable thing. And actually allowing the Panzer IV to flank it. That's very bad. I have no idea why he actually keeps on moving instead of just stopping up and quickly turning. And there we go, Panzer goes down south. I mean, really poor engagement right here by Aelvins. Sending in his tank destroyer first. The tank destroyer should never be first. Never. Never. Instead, he makes it a very easy target. And quickly cleared out by the Germans. It's actually time to have a look at Aelvins. But very poor engagement right there from Aelvins. Very poor move from him. Definitely going to be a lot better. And there we go. The Stug quickly moves in, trying to get that T-34. Not looking good, not looking good. SU-76 moving up to support. And good heavens, he's actually got an awful lot of munitions and a Sturmovik attack line up. That could actually be very nasty towards Milo, if used properly. But using the field gun to quickly block up any German advantage to follow up on his T-34. And there we go, conscripts moving in versus the Panzers, who again, not quite suited for infantry fighting. Panzer's pulling back. Panzer IV, they're rolling in. That's definitely going to be a problem for the conscripts. For the tactical infantry.
One standing by.
Quickly going to risk losing a few men if they're not careful.
Taking forces.
And again, Milothemedic's medic's been quite absent.
Leon, comrade.
MD-42 opening up on the MD crew, getting bombarded though by the field gun. And there we go, conscripts in the south retreating in the face of fascist panzers. Not sure why Flaps is acting up like this. Oh well. Stuk here might want to work in support of infantry. I mean, the Stuk is definitely not a weapon to work on its own. It's something you really need to be working with infantry. It is definitely not a tank to be sent on its own. And a Panzer squad again went down. There's all these, you know, Milo sending in his troops on his own. He seems to overrate his infantry to be some sort of super soldier. Knights Cross Holder squad from Company Route 1. They're not quite that. Again, they should always be working with something. And if they should be working on its own, it should be on harassment missions on the far flanks. Problem is, he does this very much in all, you know, the sense of fighting. He keeps wasting infantry, a lot of valuable infantry that way, which is definitely not okay. And it's quite depressing. We do see another Panzer IV, but now he's got, what, 2 infantry squads left.
Enemy forces are attempting to capture our
I mean, that's definitely not good. Again, we got a Stuk on its own. Really a lot of problems there for Milo. I mean, we see some good ideas, but again, the problem is basically he doesn't quite know fully how to use his infantry. He doesn't quite appreciate it. And he doesn't quite understand its weaknesses, and thus he ends up losing a lot of it. Which is, again, not good. Now we also see Stuk again being sent on its own against the conscripts in a blizzard. That really should not be happening, but apparently it is. Which is definitely not good. We're seeing a Panzer IV being sent in, but again, he's not supporting his panzers with infantry. Which is very much a big no-no. Very much so. And quite a shame. There we go, conscripts finally pushed away, but not without having done quite a bit of considerable damage to the Stuk. Aelvins, on the other hand, showing better understanding of his infantry, also has more of it, in more veteran form. So overall, he will also have the better prospects currently of actually winning the fight, I think. Although he does have a slightly nasty ability of sending out his assault guns on their own. They definitely, again, should not be sent out either. They're basically like the Stuk, should be working with infantry at all times. So right here, Aelvins making a mistake once more. Although we do see the T-34 moving in, infantry moving in towards the center. Panzer IV moving in towards that. Although he can actually overwhelm the Panzer IV with so does size. I mean, he's got the assault gun. Actually now he's T-34's veterans too, meaning its damage actually increasing. He needs just to flank the Panzer IV. Don't stand still, Aelvins. Again, you've got some good ideas, but you don't quite seem to know how to fully appreciate the T-34. Flank with it. Don't stand still with it.
We are losing supplies to the enemy. Freezing troops dying under your command is an inefficient...
And troops are freezing, getting shot at by the MD-42, another veteran T-3 squad. T-34 taking another hit. SU-76 need to turn about and shoot at it. Conscripts moving in, although they are still quite freezing. And the T-34 gets abandoned, and I think that was actually a wasted T-34 and wasted veterans again. Had he not decided to, apparently for some bizarre reason, just park in front of the Panzer IV instead of quickly as possible actually flanking it, he probably could have won that. And destroyed a Panzer IV, so that was very much a waste right there by Aelvins. Which again is quite the shame. SU-76 trying to support, MD-42, Panzer IV on the move, Stuk 4 not supporting, although it has been repaired. Holding most of the victory points, so that's a small victory for Milo at the moment, that's about it. SU-76 taking hits and retreating. Still not a lot of infantry though from Milo, although another Panzer Grenadier squad equipped with the Gewehr 43. Flank the SU-85 with the Panzer IV, flank it. Instead he pulls back, actually leaving it in front of the SU-85 again. A lot of players just don't seem how to know how to, or novices at least, don't seem to know how to flank with panzers and tanks. And there we go, we actually see a Panzer IV wasted. Again, had he just driven past the SU-85, just driven like that, he could have won this. He could have won this. Instead, although we do see here, nicely done by Aelvins, just, you know, attack rounds the Panzer IV, thus ensuring his opponent can't recapture it, which is good. But again, Milo should have just have flanked. That would have been the end of the SU-85, so very much a poor move right there by him. And again, rather seems to be a problem with the novices. They don't quite seem to know how to flank. You know, again, get past the tank, get on this side and shoot it that way. Ending up losing a lot of valuable armor. In this case, Milo just has lost 2 Panzer IVs within short periods of time. And of course, all the Panzer Grenadiers also lost. It's not really good at all. It's quite the opposite. And it's something that Milo really needs, you know, to get to work on his unit preservation, gets to work on how to use infantry, which again is, you know, at least working in pairs, not working fine on their own, and again, work on their unit preservation, again, on armor. He's wasting a lot of panzers, a lot of Panzer Grenadiers, a lot of Grenadiers. And of course, just not utilizing his doctrine to the fullest. More flamethrowers for Comrade Aelvins. And another Sturmovik strafing run. More Panzers moving in. They probably should consider getting out of there before the strafing run murders them. Those cannon can and will tear up infantry even on the retreat. Although right here the Grenadiers seem to go down awfully quickly to the Panzer Grenadiers. And these Panzer Grenadiers are in fact very close to veterancy free, which will make them only more lethal. And we see a 3rd Panzerkampfwagen here rolling out for Milothemedic. Still no medics for Milothemedic. I wonder if he sees the irony. But slowly getting pushed back, again suffering needless losses quite often. Which again is a definite shame. We see a larger armoured force actually being assembled right there by Aelvins. 2 T-34s, an SU-85 and an SU-76 should in fact, if used properly, be able to overwhelm Milothemedic at any spot. So right now the 15th Panzer Division is having chopped against the 20th Tank Corps, and there we go, assault being initiated, field gun firing away, T-34s moving an SU-85 though, needs to be quick up to support this. And Panzers need to be careful, although the Gewehr infantry free, but at the same time the 2 T-34s are moving in. They need to retreat. They're caught between 2 T-34s already high. Fritz goes down. Other troops are getting caught between an MG-42 and a Panzer IV. Panzer goes down to 2 men. Really need to get out of that Stug though nearby, but it's not supporting the infantry. Come on, Milo. Get in the fight. Or get in a Strafbataillon. And there we go, Stug opening up. Doing quite a bit of damage. T-34 almost down. And T-34 down. Second T-34 not retreating. Panzers quickly moving in, though they should be careful again. They're lone men and right in front of a T-34 itself. Although using, in this case, true sight to quickly sneak in front of it. That's avoiding most of the fire. Nicely done, though, by Milo in this case. Quickly getting back. And getting the second T-34 again. In this case, Aelvins should have been quicker to retreat, but again, did not quite happen. Panzer IV quickly rolling in. Panzer Grenadiers again need to be careful. 4/6. 4/6. And the conscripts down south getting murdered by the MG-42. SU-76 trying to blow up the MG crew. Actually, veterancy free. God in Himmel, that's the first time I think I've seen a veterancy free MG-42 crew. Nasty stuff going on. Another T-34 arriving for Aelvins. The mistakes are really beginning to show themselves. Training there to Milo. We're still not really building out our munitions again. Not a lot of infantry. Not a lot of infantry. Milo. What am I to do with you? Except have you punished. Milo's Aelvins seems now all of a sudden intent on repeating his mistake with the T-34. Stuk advancing. Pioneer goes down to field artillery. Stuk still awfully close to things. Still no MG. Still no more infantry. Instead, looks like Milothemedic is constantly trying to just make do with panzers, which he then, of course, keeps losing because he doesn't have the sufficient infantry to support them. Although might see the H-85 going down to the combined Panzer IV Stuk combo, although looks like the Stuk, yes indeed, goes down first, actually, ironically, gaining veterancy too as it blows up. So that's a bit weird. There we go, the Panzer IV gets it, but the Panzer IV needs to get out of there. At the same time, T-34 moving in against the MD-42. MD-42 crew, very poor condition. Still no medic bunker. Panzer IV immobilized. Field gun also up. Quick move in with the Panzers, but again, not really good condition. And again, not a lot of infantry. In fact, the MD-42 just went down. Ach, du lieber Milo. Thou art a disgrace to the 15th Panzer Division.
Our Panzer forces have been reduced by
Panzers don't work. And apparently decided he could not salvage the Stuk and so decided to wreck itself. Good move, actually. Again, you know, part of the whole, you know, vehicles can be abandoned. Sometimes you have to realize, can I salvage it, can I not? If not, blow it. Of course, it also results in the opponent thinking, if he can salvage it. By this stage, I'd say Milo is currently rather close to being combat ineffective. He's barely got any infantry left. He's lost a lot of armor again in rather senseless ways again. It basically comes down to the fact that Milo rather fails to understand that strength works best, the Wehrmacht, you know, Austria, whatever, works best, you know, in groups. I mean, any army best works together in groups. It's just how these groups work. And problem is, Milo for the larger part has basically been splitting up his troops, his armor. In particular, the armor should be supported by Panzer Grenadiers or something like that. In particular, the Stuk. It's not a weapon you have on its own, but you know, he just keeps on doing it. And again, considering all the munitions he has, you know, there's been no munitions caches, so a lot of mistakes he committed. I mean, there were some, you know, good moments. Also, for that matter, from Aelvins, who was definitely showing himself as a more promising player, but it basically comes a bit down to unit preservation, and again, a bit of a failure to understand how the Austria works. It looks like we are going to be seeing Aelvins put together for an assault, forming an assault group as tanks. On the right here is T-34 again, moves into the Blizzard, rather quickly exposing himself to a series of Panzer Rex, which generally tends to be a bad idea. Storming in the Su-76, not a good idea either. In this case, Aelvins committing mistakes using assault guns like tanks and tanks like assault guns. And again, you know, not sending in the infantry first. I mean, again, that's a difference between German and Soviet armor. And I'll just briefly pause again. You send in German armor first, you send Russian armor after the infantry. Largely, that's how it works. Rather, though, when it happens the opposite, you rather tend to not do so well. Although, generally, even with the Germans, you should send the infantry in first, but for different reasons. So, rather problematic. And there we go, Katyusha strike going in the Panzer Grenadiers need to retreat. Rockets flying all over the place as the Stalin organ plays. And it is not jazz it's playing. Unless Comrade Stalin enjoys a very particular form for jazz. but the SU-76 actually gains veteran 2, gaining a damage bonus, but it's very much damage. It needs to get away, but instead he moves it forward. No, Aelvins, no. And again, I really dislike this from Milo. He keeps equipping his panzer gunners with Panzerschrecks. He needs something to also deal with the infantry, but he's just constantly getting Panzerschrecks instead of also considering some Gewehr 43s. It's a really, really dumb mistake, to be honest. I mean, lots of Panzerschrecks does not equal victory. It just equals a lot of Panzerschrecks. So again, rather there, Milo. Again, committing another series of mistakes, another series of misunderstandings on how the bloody Oster works. It's, again, not really comforting. And again, it's a really grim one he makes. Again, just spamming a lot of the same unit is actually a very bad idea. It very much makes it easier to just deal with in a specific manner. Conscripts and companies getting pushed away there. Another Katyusha barrage. Most of the map falling into his hands, and looks like basically Manu's just coming around with 2 victory points, hoping he can win that way. Digging in with Panzer Grenadiers. They should at the very least consider some MGs, mortars, and packs. If he really just wants to dig in. Also, it can should be less expensive all than all the Panzer Grenadiers he keeps on losing. And again, if you just bother not equipping one of them with Panzerschrecks, you could also equip all the others with Gewehr 43. You might have a better chance. Setting up fire pits to prepare for some warmth. Going for the vital munitions. Nice move right there by Aelvins. The Panzer Gun is going against veterans. The 3 conscripts. Just note, veterans, the 3 conscripts actually is quite the challenge even for Panzer Gunners, in particular non-veteran ones. In that case, you probably should have had the Gewehr 43 and perhaps, headed into cover first. In that case, the conscripts rather easily won that one. So again, Milo's mistakes are really haunting him at the moment, really biting him in the arse. Very much punishment for his own sins.
The enemy is down to 75 points.
Looks like Aelvins is preparing another assault, having fired in the artillery, sends in the infantry. Panzer already took a nasty hit there from the field gun. Panzer gun is next in line. And we see him calling in an airstrike to support his advance. A very nice move right there by Aelvins. And we quickly see the Panzer simply getting shredded again. And of course now it's the Panzer Schreck upgraded once, and I'm meant to hold back all the infantry, which is obviously not going to work in particular again with the strafing run. I mean, it's quite incredible how Milo, just keeps on repeating the same mistakes without learning from them. Not really good. Not really good. And again, why not just equip some regular Panzer Gunners with a Gewehr 43 instead of going for the one already with Panzerschrecks, getting the most anti-infantry out of it instead of, medium amount. And there we go. Conscript with the Panzerschrecks have snug up, and there we go, just firing away, going to knock out that Panzer IV. Anti-tank grenade, and there we go, Panzer IV down. That's another one down, and you quickly see Aelvins actually stealing it. Grand Theft Panzer.
Close air support is available.
Another badge of shame there for Milo. Losing most of the map. Has lost most of what he already has. Another Panzer IV out. But not very often I actually see this structure, in particular not in 1 versus 1s. It'd rather need something extra, I think. But apparently, Aelvins does alright with it. So, if it worked for him, of course, I should definitely not tell him not to go for it. There we go, Panzer IV wreck, another T-34 on the way. Speeding this up slightly. Looks like he's setting up for another assault. Finally coordinating for something a bit more sensible. About bleeding time, if I might add. But will it be enough? Will it be enough? And that is the question. Whoops. Thought I'd set it up to normal speed. My apologies, my apologies. Bit of a longer Monday's novice fight, but again, sometimes necessary, sometimes all I have. More Katyusha strikes. Murdering fascists left and right. Also what you get for blowing up your troops.
Conditions clear. The blizzard is gone.
And there we go, playback over. The 15th Panzer Division has pulled out its unit. Its commander likely going to be severely reprimanded. Overall, we saw a bit of this and that in this fight. Overall, I mean, Aelvins won, partly because, you know, he did show deep understanding. He did show some more aggressive tactics, which is good. Milo, on the other hand, played a bit too passively. And again, too strung out with his infantry, losing a lot of it in rather pointless ways. Then, of course, came the fact he did not support doctrine heavily on munitions with munitions caches, which is definitely a mistake. I mean, otherwise it was a nice idea to get Gewehr for the fleet, even for the Panzer Grenadiers, but again, he also managed to dilute it, but then, of course, also getting a lot of Panzerschrecks, and then he just kept going too heavily on the Panzerschrecks without anything to really deal with the infantry, so problem was his unit composition was rather imbalanced, it was rather wobbly, and ultimately it was not very strong, and was much easier for basically for Aelvins to knock out, but again, Aelvins split up his tanks several times, he did not quite fully understand how to use his armor. And I suppose that was the ultimate problem. Neither of them quite know how to fully use their armor. They need to work on that, in particular Aelvins. But also in particular for Milo, he still needs to work as an infantry. There's some good ideas, but there's also a lot of bad ideas in there. A lot of them. A lot. And again, had he considered munition caches and all that, he might have worked out a bit better. And again, better use of the armor. He really needs to get together. But overall, hope you learned something from this match. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, why not subscribe or tell your friends. If you didn't, well, why not send a replay of your own. This is Imperial Dane saying cheers.